All right, y'all, what's up? I know it's been a while since you've seen me, but I'm back, and I just had to do this video on Mr. MJF. As you know, last night AEW Revolution took place, and it was an awesome show. However, during the main event, the Iron Man match, as you see, I have a video queued up here. MJF, Bryan Danielson, 60-minute Iron Man match. But during the match, apparently, when MJF was out in the crowd, he took it upon himself to grab a drink from a woman here and throw the drink in a young fan's face, which I'm about to show you, and it's on Twitter. And there you go. I'm gonna remove that there. Okay, now I understand about kayfabe and all that, and I understand about doing your job, but in my opinion, there are certain lines you don't cross. I don't care how talented you are, how big a star you are, or how much of a heel you're trying to be. You don't take a drink and throw it in a little kid's face. I just happen to notice, and it always seems to be one of our brothers or one of us that's in the line of fire all the time. I noticed the young fan was a young black African American. Now the boy's mother was with him, and apparently it was thought that it was water, but it was actually tequila. Now I hope it didn't sting the young fan's eyes. And of course, during the match, they said some woman, I guess she was a backstage official for AEW, some woman named Amanda Huber, and others came out to check on the fan. The fan and his mother were taken backstage. They were given merchandise and will be attending Wednesday's Dynamite in Sacramento. Okay, you know what? I don't give two shits about merchandise or meeting any other wrestlers. If I was that mother and that fan and he did that, I would take, my son out of there, take him home. Cause I'm pretty sure he probably started crying. That's probably why they took him backstage, gave him some merchandise and this, that, and the third, and let him get autographs from other wrestlers. Which here's a picture of the same fan backstage, talking with Hobbs. I guess he's getting some wisdom and some consoling from the book of Hobbs. But in reality, I wouldn't give a fuck about your merchandise. I wouldn't give a fuck about your product. You don't do no shit like that. That's a line, to me, you don't cross. And this is the problem with these muscled up, fake athletic motherfuckers who are trying to get so much heat and trying to be believable and trying to be this, that, and the third. They cross a line that should not have been crossed. That's a young fan. You don't know what kind of emotional scar that's going to put on him. I don't care how much merchandise or if you give him free tickets for a show. You don't do that. Now, I've heard I said Tony Khan is furious, but he can't be too furious because I'm pretty sure the so-called star is not going to get reprimanded, but he should. And if it was me, I don't care how big a star you are. I'm stripping your ass of the title, and I might even fire your ass. And that woman could still sue, because technically, in a way, that's kind of assault. He threw tequila, an alcoholic beverage, in that little young fan's face. That's a line you don't cross. Now, if it was me and I was a father and that was my son, MJF, you would get the smoke, or in this case, as in, you might get smoked. If I were to come find you after the show, and trust me, I would make it a point too, because famous or not, after the show, when it comes to I guess backstage or after parties, a lot of these fake ass athletes, and that's what they are. They're fake people. They work in a fake industry. Fake people, fake personality. Yeah, they say it's all part of the show, and it's basically confirmed the kid wasn't a plant. So that shit was done spontaneous. Once again, a line you don't cross. And like I said, I'm out in the real world. any one of these pieces of shit isn't hard to find face to face. You just got to know where to go, and and I guess if you get lucky. But yeah, if he's lucky his father wasn't there, because there might have been some problems. But like I said, me personally, yeah, he would get smoked. That's just me. That's just how I feel. I believe a message needs to be sent to these sons of bitches, about ethics, about certain lines you don't cross. I think they should be taught a lesson. But of course, that's never going to happen. They're famous. The wrestling promotions got money to back them up. They say, "Oh, it's all part of the show." No, it's not part of the show. You don't make an innocent fan a part of the show like that and embarrass him. So MJF, I'm gonna call you the J. The J is gonna stand for jack off, jackass, because that's what you are. You lost all my respect. Got no respect for you, and as far as I'm concerned, going forward, you're the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in the business. And the business is full of pieces of shit, not just in-ring talent, even former in-ring talent who are now have now ascended to corporate status. Of course, I'm speaking of course, over in Stamford, Connecticut, Triple Bitch. He's a piece of shit. He might try to come off as a nice guy now that he's in his position, because up and comers want to be stars, but no, we all know and remember how you got to that pinnacle. But as far as MJF goes, I'm not gonna cheer for you if you become a babyface. I'm not gonna even boo you as a bad guy. If I boo you, I'm gonna boo you because you're legitimately a piece of shit. And I've heard he is. I mean, these people take on these persona characters to become stars. The problem is they don't know how to turn it off mentally, and half of them turn out to be bipolar. They suffer from mental depression, mental illness. Hell, even Lacey Evans posted something on Instagram that received some backlash about mental illness and depression. If you're bipolar and you suffer from mental illness, do not become a professional wrestler. It's not going to be good for your mental health or your physical health, as we've seen over the years. Mick Foley, and of course, if you saw last night's A&E WWF biography, Chyna obviously wasn't good for her mental health either, coming from a broken home and the way she came up. So, and getting into the business, calling it being accepted as families, call it being accepted as a family, and they're your friends. No, these pieces of shit are not your friends. It's a business. They're your friends. They're only your friends, I guess, if you become famous, or you get over, and you're hanging with the boys, especially people who might have broke you in. But we all saw what happened in China going forward, because once you're on top, you can only go down. And of course, as you know, she went down hard. But like I said, this son of a bitch, MJF, when your fall comes, once again, I'm not gonna have no remorse, no love for you, no love for your bitch ass. Like I said, you cross the line, and that's it with me. No respect, no love. All I'm saying is, these people at some point, whether they're up and comers or veterans, need to be put in check. And the promoters ought to sit them down and say, hey, you know what? I understand about being a heel and doing your job, but that's a line you don't cross. That's a real fan. Her mother and the family could sue us. Then they may not come back or want to watch our product or buy our merchandise. And if you're a young fan, if that mother had any kind of a conscience, or just think a minute. Why would you want any merchandise, or why would you want to take him to another show where he might get shit thrown in his face again by MJF or somebody else? So I wouldn't want to come to your shows. See, fans are so wrapped up in this fake bullshit, and half of them think it's real. Stop and think for a minute. about who these people really are. What you see on TV is not who they are, especially the so-called baby faces. Now the prick MJF is, I believe he's probably one of many exceptions to the rule. The persona that he plays is the persona he lives by, because I've heard fans can't approach him, and when they do, they get a bad reaction because and he doesn't care if you're a little kid. He does not give a shit. So we need to send a message to these pieces of shit about check yourself before something bad happens to you. And of course, we all know in the future, as the years go by, as they're performing and abusing their bodies, and their bodies break down, all of a sudden, they don't have money for medical expenses. Oh, they got to start a GoFundMe page, asking the fans for donations. After the attitude and the way you treat the fans, you got the audacity to ask us for money? Are you crazy? We got enough problems of our own. We're not rich and famous. We work regular jobs, and we work hard for our money. So any donations we give to you, that could be kept in our pockets to pay a bill, to buy food. We like to eat. I mean, we don't eat top of the line or like some of you famous wrestlers do, but we got to eat too. So no, we ain't giving you shit, because real educated fans like myself and others I know are gonna say, hey, didn't you spit in my face years ago, or didn't you throw some beverage in my face years ago, and now you asking the fans for money, the fans that you probably treated like shit over the years? Hell to the fucking no. See, the money you make, why don't you use it to get some kind of education? Because looking at half you pieces of shit, we can tell half of you, almost all of you, didn't graduate high school, and you probably don't have an education above a fifth grade level, if that much. You know what I mean? And some of you probably can't read. But so in closing, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.